India's top court has upheld the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. This means that India's Supreme Court has now done away with the contentious Article 370, which prevented Kashmir entering into India's mainstream. This is also coming where, for decades on end, Pakistan and China have been expressing their concern on the Kashmir issue, which has further stifled the anti-India perspective. Here's the story.
A historic verdict from a 5-judge constitution bench of the Indian Supreme Court. A turning point for a nearly 8-decade-old conundrum around Kashmir's actual identity vis-à-vis India. The highlights of the order. 1. That Jammu and Kashmir does not hold internal sovereignty after Maharaja Singh signed the Instrument of Accession to India in 1947. 2. That Article 370 was historically a transitory and temporary provision, and since the Constituent Assembly that espoused it no longer exists, the special condition for which it was introduced is also deemed to not exist. 3. The President's order of August 2019 abrogating Article 370 and imposing President's rule was not challenged and was not malified. 4. Parliament has the authority to carve out a union territory from a state, and all provisions of the Constitution of India can be applied to Jammu and Kashmir. Assembly elections are to be held in the state by September 2024. And 5. A concurring opinion from Justice Kaul for establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Panel.
The state of Jammu and Kashmir does not have internal sovereignty, which is distinguishable from the powers and privileges enjoyed by other states in the country. Article 370 was a feature of asymmetric federalism and not sovereignty.
The historic Supreme Court judgment is a massive precedent, paving the way to resolving complex political and legal issues within the parameters of the Indian Constitution. Some Kashmiri political groups as well as citizens have voiced unhappiness at the legal stamp on removing the special status, though integration into India is welcomed. But for the Pak-China alliance, Kashmir as integrated with India comes as a massive setback to their efforts to keep the fire burning.
Pakistan categorically rejects the judgment announced by the Supreme Court of India. Jammu and Kashmir is an internationally recognized dispute which remains on the agenda of the United Nations Security Council for over 7 decades.
Looking back into history, creation of Article 370 and the special status row. Undecided on whether to go to Pakistan or India after partition of the country, then ruler of Kashmir Maharaja Singh had signed a treaty of accession to India after Pakistani invaders threatened his kingdom in 1947. Article 370 was introduced into the Constitution of India, giving Kashmir autonomy and special status outside issues of defence, foreign affairs and communications. A separate Constituent Assembly for Jammu and Kashmir cut a deal with New Delhi, assuring the province its own constitution and internal sovereignty. All orders on Kashmir from the Indian President too were subject to approval. Fast forward to the 2000s. In 2017, 6 months after the Bharatiya Janata Party withdrew support of the Mehbooba Mufti-led government, Governor's rule in Jammu and Kashmir was turned into President's rule. All powers on changes to Article 370 were handed over to the Indian Parliament.
माननीय गृह मंत्री जी द्वारा प्रस्तुत किया गया सामाजिक संकल्प स्वीकृत किया जाए जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए.
And famously, on the 6th of August 2019, Article 370 was scrapped via a parliamentary legislation.
हाँ 351, 351, 351, ना 72, 72, 72 निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ. सामाजिक संकल्प स्वीकृत हुआ.
The state was bifurcated into Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, both centre-administered territories. Legal challenges had erupted. The latest Supreme Court ruling sets them all aside. The big takeaway: Jammu and Kashmir stands fully integrated with the Indian Union. The last word legally has been said. India's top court has spelt it out. But will Kashmir's political parties allow the autonomy issue to be set completely at rest?